Finally, I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. This is going to be the first of many RLSH Framework videos, and if you can see that right next to me, you probably could before I sat down, but I'm pretty sure my leg's blocking it now. I have the Ultimate Guide to the Dark Knight Batman Encyclopedia with me. You may be wondering, what does that have to do with RLSH Framework, and you might also be wondering, what the heck is RLSH Framework in the first place? Pretty much, if you've seen my RLSH 101 video, I broke down pretty much a lot of things that have to do with the real-life superhero. The different things that are in the suits, whether it is aesthetic, or protective, or functional. The different things in the mask, whether it's aesthetic, protective, or functional. And many other things that have to do with real-life superheroes. And in that guide is pretty much allows you to figure out what you want to do in order to become a real-life superhero. It gives you a lot of options of different roles you can take, as well as the different gadgets that come into play. And now, I've taken it to another level, because I noticed there are a lot of real-life superheroes who seem to not really know how to create their own identity for themselves as a real-life superhero, and they seem to attempt to emulate that of a comic book hero and make them, a reality, become the real-life version of Batman, or the real-life version of someone else who doesn't have powers. You can do real-life versions of people who have abilities, but you have to become a little bit more creative when you do that. And for now, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, which is why I have the Batman guide. And you may be thinking, ooh, is he going to do Batman? And I would say, no, you need to either look in the description or look at the title. This episode is the Nightwing Framework. All the information I'm taking is from the encyclopedia, pages 56 to 57, where they talk about Nightwing. And yes, I know that it's gonna leave out some things, because I've actually been reading Nightwing a lot recently. Like in the last few days, I just kind of started Nightwing, and I'm now on number 23. My brother collected like a lot of them, and I'm just now digging in there. I read the first one a few months ago, and then I didn't have time to read a bunch, but now that it's summer vacation, I just pushing them through now. So I'm enjoying the Nightwing series so far, and I'm friends with Nightwing Rises, who is a member of the Underground Justice League Alliance, and I was just curious how the encyclopedia did it, and how you would then do it in real life. Some notable gadgets that they completely ignored in the encyclopedia would be the grappling hook, and I believe I've seen Nightwing use smoke bombs before, but I'm not completely sure. Both of those were completely left out of the encyclopedia. Okay, let's start. I'm going to pretty much do exactly what I did in the RLSH 101 video, except each time I name something, it will be very specified to Nightwing based off of what is in the encyclopedia, and some of the things that Nightwing has may not really be available to us, because Batman and his cohorts use gadgets that are not too far away from our time, but they're not exactly all here. Most of them are, but there are a lot that are either capable of doing multiple things that they really shouldn't be able to do, or just not existent or available to consumers, to where a guy who wants to become a real-life superhero can just randomly find them. So here we go, starting with suit types. Nightwing's suit type is unspecified. They did not say whether or not he was wearing armor or if it was aesthetic. If you look at his suit, you would probably say that it was armored. It looks structured, but then Dick Grayson is actually very muscular, and when you see him fight, you can see sometimes clothes get torn, and armor doesn't tear like that. So it might be cloth, but again, you have to look at it and use your best judgment. So really, it's either, if you have the money, You can choose whether or not you want to do aesthetic or armor, but if you don't have the money, then you're going to use aesthetic, that or save up until you can afford armor. Mask type. Mask type is functional. Though it appears to be aesthetic, they actually have night vision lenses built into his mask. The night vision lenses are dipped into like the special chemical thing, and I think it's called starlight. I'm not sure if that exists or not, so I would just play it safe and get night vision goggles and go for the functional mask approach. Again, by the end of this, you will probably not look like Nightwing if you go by the standard. You may kind of resemble Nightwing, but remember, we have to take all his gadgets that are a little bit out there, and we have to make them easier to afford or possible. Like the closest possible thing we can get. So there will be some differences. You won't walk out of this being Dick Grayson. You will walk out of this being a real-life representation of Dick Grayson that is of your own, because everyone will make this look different, I'm sure. Combat gadgets include Eskrima sticks, wingdings, and extendable Eskrima sticks. The real-world equivalent would probably be Eskrima sticks, because Eskrima sticks exist. They're pretty much like batons, and I know there's a difference between them, but I've seen people fight with them, and it seems the main difference between Eskrima sticks and batons is the fighting style. Like, you just have to look it up on YouTube. It's very incredible to watch them fight with Eskrima sticks. Predators from The Men Who Stare at Goats, I mentioned them in my Roche 101 video, and extendable batons. Nightwing's wingdings are not used like a boomerang and are often more like a shuriken. What a wingding is pretty much a batarang, but customized for Nightwing. And his wingdings are very cool. They're like a batarang, like I said, but they don't do the multi-function thing that Batman's batarangs do, which is part of the reason why I'm scared to do a Batman Framework video. Pretty much his wingdings are used to be able to be thrown at enemies, but I've also seen him cut cords with them from afar, and wingdings could also technically be used the way Batman uses batarangs in fistfights, where he holds them a certain way where he doesn't get cut by them, and he hits people with the batarangs. And that's why I picked Predators, because Predators are known to have multi-function non-lethal weapons, and are supposed to be like the ultimate non-lethal weapon, and I would consider the batarang to be very close to that, but I feel like its shuriken aspects make it seem a little bit too lethal, especially for a new Relsh. Like, I wouldn't trust you to just run around with shurikens, and you never want to have it where you could accidentally injure someone to like fatal proportions. You don't want to do that by accident. So that's why I always say you should go with something non-lethal. Some Relsh carry pocket knives, and I guess that's okay, but I don't feel safe with it. The only time that I would use a pocket knife would be to cut someone free if I found someone who was like tied up against their will. So, where were we? Oh yeah, you would use Predators, and you'd use them as throwing weapons in replacement for the wingdings. And okay, I am unsure whether or not extendable Eskrima exist, because again, Eskrima are like batons, and I have never looked online and seen extendable Eskrima. But I know that you can find extendable batons, and I even talk about them in the Rush 101 video. By the way, if you haven't seen the Rush 101 video, you should check that out. Okay. Now, you can find extendable batons online fairly easy, and also finding normal Eskrima should be very easy to do. That's also very available online. Predators, I think there's a special website specifically for buying Predators, and there are Predators that are made of different materials, so go nuts. Also, I think you can find the designs for Predators, so if you're good at cutting of like any type of material that would be useful for a Predator, you could possibly make your own based off of internet designs, which is a yay. I would love to do that. Storage gadgets. Nightwing uses gauntlets with special storage compartments for easy access and keeps his escrimas in these back holsters where you can just go. I have a few alternatives to these two storage methods, as I don't know if you can buy gauntlets like that. They probably would have to be custom made, and back holsters I feel are completely unreliable. I really tried. Dang, I keep getting these things in my throat. I really tried to do back holsters for my batons at one point, and I felt like that was so stupid. They seem to fall out a lot. Like, no matter how deep you try to make them, they'll just go whoop, 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 whoop. And the way Nightwing runs around and does flips, there's no way. Because how do you take them out so easily, but yet they don't fall out when you fall from a really tall building? Anyways, my two alternatives for quick convenience: a trench coat I think would be just as cool as a gauntlet. The gauntlet, I don't even know how he works that. He probably has to work it with one hand to pull up the compartment and do all that. Because at first it seemed really cool. It seemed like, oh, a gauntlet. So does he just flick his wrist and he gets whatever gadget he wants? It's like, no. It's a compartment. He would have to open it with the other hand and reach in and pull the stuff, just like how you have to do with a belt compartment. So at that point, you might as well have a trench coat with a bunch of pockets on the inside, and just kind of go, which is better than. Batman's reaction times are insane, by the way. But if you know about Batman's belt, not going to do the Batman video probably, he has like way too much stuff, but the Batman belt has a motorized remote control, and I think he has like a little palm controller thing where he can set it up to where, oh, I need smoke pellets, and it becomes like this pocket on the left, and whenever he needs another gadget, he just presses the button and the gadget that he wants will be on the pocket on the left, so he doesn't have to memorize all those pockets. It just always rotates to what he wants in this one pocket. Anyways, I just thought that was cool and I wanted to share that. Let's see, trench coats with deep enough pockets to hold your escrimas would be good, and in these smaller pockets that would be up here in your trench coat, you could keep all your predators. If you wish to stay true to Nightwing's methods to an extent, you could wear a backpack to hold your escrima sticks, which I think would be perfectly fine, or you could have your suit custom made with holsters in the back. I do not recommend that. I feel like holsters in the back would not really work well, but if you found a way to make it work, then more power to you. Okay, let's see. Gauntlets could be made custom if you wanted to really stay true to the Nightwing thing. I also think I've seen old school leather jackets that have zippers that are here, and I'm assuming they're not just zippers and that there are pockets there. And if that's a thing, then I think that would be close enough to what Nightwing has. If you try to buy one of those jackets, I would ask the people at the store if their actual pockets are just zippers. You would be surprised. It might just be zippers. Let's see. Stun gadgets. He has one stun gadget, and it's a taser. It's like the most normal thing he owns. And for transportation, this was kind of interesting for me to think about. It wasn't that hard to think about, but I'm not sure if you're going to be happy with what I say. So here we go. Faster with more maintenance transportation. He drives a muscle car that has an interchangeable hood, which pretty much allows him to change like the whole outer skin of his car to whatever outer skins that he has available. And he has a taxi cab, a police car, and pretty much another taxi cab. And just in case you need a taxi cab for the other side of town. And he switches those out with the muscle car outer skin hood thing. And he just does that whenever he needs to be a little bit more incognito. But I don't think that's openly available to people. And I try to make my videos appeal more to new Welsh who may not have all those funds saved up. And I think the closest thing you will probably get to interchangeable hoods would be a light vehicle that is a common car in your area. And that shouldn't be that hard to look for. Just go driving around with someone or drive around yourself and look at what car you see the most that is small. Don't say, oh, everyone drives a white pickup truck, so I will get a white pickup truck, because that is not light at all, and it's just not convenient for speed or gas. So pick a common car that's light, and you will have to do some improvements. So this is the part where you kind of have to really dig deep in your pockets for this one, because he has a souped-up engine and a souped-up motor, so even though his cars are very incognito and blend in with the city, they still are way faster than how they appear to be. So you have to not only find a common car that everyone in your area owns, but you also have to soup it up a little bit. You have to give it that extra kick so that even though it doesn't seem like you'd be able to go that fast, you can. Also, you may need extra license plates, because if you decide to drive it as your normal car as well as your real-life superhero car, and you're really adamant about having a secret identity, then you'll change the license plates. And we have pretty much finished the list in record time, even though I keep derailing and talking about random stuff. Here's the total wish list. An aesthetic or armored suit, your choice. Night vision goggles. 2 Excrema sticks. 4 extendable batons. You might have been thinking 2 based off of the way I was talking, but each gauntlet holds 2. So he has 2 extras here and 2 extras here. So that equals 4. So you need 4 extendable batons, and then 10 predators. Because they say that his wingding compartment is the same thing as Batman's mini Batarang compartment, and I had to go to the mini Batarang page in the encyclopedia, and it says that each one of those can hold 5 mini Batarangs, which means that he would have 5 wingdings here and 5 wingdings here. That means 10 predators. Then you have 1 taser, 1 jacket or backpack, and that's optional. That depends on whether or not you decided to get the back holsters in your suit or not. And then 2 custom-made gauntlets, also optional. That depends on whether or not you got the jacket with the zippers on the sleeves. A light, very common car, which is kind of optional, because I don't think a lot of people who are trying to emulate Nightwing are really going to go as far as the vehicle, but if you want to, then that's open for you. So in other words, if you can't get the vehicle, don't go, dang it, you can still do things differently. You can do things differently for like the whole list. Like, that's completely up to you. This is just kind of to get you on your way. Let's see, 1 souped up motor, so that your car can get a little bit faster, and 1 souped up engine, so that your car will be really, really fast. And that's the Nightwing framework. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For more information, I will be doing another framework video. If you have any specific details that you'd like to ask me about, ask me in the comment section below. You can find me on Weird Community Wikia, but I also have a few other communities that I'm a part of that you can find online. And I even have one that I promised that I'd say in this video, so I need to find where that is. Meanwhile, while I'm trying to find where that is, DK, they do all the encyclopedia books. They made this Batman encyclopedia, and I love it. I read the whole thing the same day I got it, and I really enjoyed it. Let's see, and it's still a great asset to this day. Here are the websites that I not only use on a good basis, but also a lot of them are hosted by some of my friends. who are in the real-life superhero community, and they're great. Heroes-alliance.forummotion.com. That's owned by my friend Dark Ghost, real life superhero, and that one just started off recently, and it's doing great. If you want a brand new forum that just hit, that has a bunch of new people coming onto it, then that's absolutely for you. Then you have heroesnetwork.forummotion.net. That's owned by Tothian, who owns the Heroes Network. Tothian's forum has been around for a little bit longer, so if you kind of want to look at a lot of information in the forums, and you're not caring as much about getting a new crowd of people as much as you care about, tips and tricks inside of the different forum posts, then you would check out Heroes Network. Next, we have Facebook groups, and because I'm a teenager, the main Facebook groups that I'm in are teen-related real-life superhero groups. So, I mean, you can still join if you're older, because we really do appreciate mentors who can go on there and give us tips and tricks. I appreciate mentors a lot. New Justice is a Facebook group, but it's more or less a page, so you can just kind of go. You don't have to worry about joining. And Young RLSH, parenthesis, Young Justice, parenthesis, that is another Facebook page. And New Justice I go on a lot to check on. Young RLSH, quotation, Young Justice, quotation, not quotation, parenthesis, Young Justice, parenthesis. That one actually was created by someone else, and I talked to them for a little while, and then they gave me adminship over the page. So Young RLSH, parenthesis, Young Justice, parenthesis, that one is actually run by me partially, and I post things on there occasionally. And then, of course, weirdcommunity.wikia.com, which is where the teen oracles are posted up. You may be thinking, what will my next video be? Well, it'll probably be one of two things. It will either be a guide to teen oracles, because the way you fight crime psychically is a little bit different. So it would be RLSH 101 for paranormal superheroes. But that may take a while for me to produce. What would be faster, and what will probably be the next video, will be another RLSH Framework video, and no, it will not be Batman. It will probably be Spoiler. Also, I'm a pretty creative guy when it comes to taking abilities and applying them to tech that you can buy online. So I just want to put out there that I also have the X-Men encyclopedia. So if anyone would like me to create a RLSH framework for an X-Men character, I kinda need a request, because unlike the Batman book, I have not even really started the X-Men book, but I will read it if someone does give me a framework request for a character. Anyways, I'll see you for the spoiler video. That one's going to be a lot of fun. See me later.